On a cloudy, gray day in Atlanta, it's time for Sunday Braves. This afternoon here at the TED, the Braves try to avoid a 3-game sweep. The Los Angeles Dodgers are red hot, and they're wrapping up this series and this homestand with the Braves this afternoon. Sunday Braves on Fox Sports South, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Make it a Hyundai Sunday every week on Fox Sports South. Good afternoon, friends. Joe, Tom, and Chip back at the ballpark. What a way to wrap up the series and homestand, fellas. A terrific pitching matchup today.
And for the Atlanta Braves, it'll be Randall Delgado on the mound. And this will be his third start of the year for the Braves, but they've been spaced out in spot starts. His last one was a beauty. He had given up no hits through 6 innings, gave up a home run to Cody Ross in the 7th, the only run he allowed. He got no decision, but really pitched like he belonged and had a great attitude about that outing. You see here one of the more spectacular double plays turned behind him in the year as well. Good stuff. We expect good from him today, and he better be on his game.
Yeah, he better be on his game, because there's another young guy on the other side that's quickly establishing himself as one of the better pitchers in the game. Clayton Kershaw, left-handed pitcher for the Dodgers. You see some of his numbers there. First in strikeouts, innings pitched, second in wins, ERA, opponent batting average. And as much as he doesn't want to hear it, he has interjected himself into the Cy Young talk, so he's going to have to continue strong here towards the end of the year to try and catch Roy Halladay.
Braves think they're up to the challenge. An interesting lineup presented by Freddie Gonzalez, as Atlanta, one of 2 National League teams yet to have been swept in a 3-game series. They'll try to keep that streak alive. Braves and Dodgers baseball, Game 3, coming right up.
Help me guide it. Shape it. Lead it. There's so much more to you than you know. Not just pain and anger. There's good in you too. We have it in us to be the better man. We already are. 2 superpowers want to start World War III. You ready for this? Let's find out.
The real enemy is out there.
And we'll welcome you back to Turner Field. That's a great looking trailer, isn't it, fellas?
Yes, it is.
It is, and I still want one of those masks.
All right.
Those helmets.
Sure, we have a big audience watching in Los Angeles today and all around Braves country. Maybe, partner, we can make that happen. Let's see if Randall Delgado can silence this Dodgers batting order with a lot of speed at the top. D. Gordon's had a terrific series, a young, exciting player playing shortstop. James Loney and Matt Kemp, 2 and 3. They've done a good job in the first 2 games, too.
And they'll be facing the Braves' young right-hander Randall Delgado, making his 3rd start at the big league level this year. You see his last 2 starts. Debut against Texas, went 4 innings, gave up 7 hits and 3 earned runs. And as Joe mentioned, the open pitched a real good ball game here against San Francisco, his last time out. So we look for more of that from him today. And as Joe said, he better be on his game.
His 4 keys to pitching success today. When he pitched against the Giants, he had the attitude that it takes. He had the look like I belong here, and he was very good for 6 innings against San Francisco. And he needs to maintain that aggressiveness today. He went right after the hitters. He's mostly a power guy, fastball and sliders.
And always a good idea to keep this guy off the base paths. D. Gordon, #1 prospect in the Dodgers chain the last couple of years, has lived up to that billing in this series. Gordon, 4 hits, has scored 4 runs. And we'll keep an eye on the weather today. The forecast a little bit iffy. Cloudy skies. We had a little drizzle working early. Scattered showers on a 78-degree day. And a ball and a strike to D. Gordon. Tony Randazzo will call the balls and strikes. Alan Porter, Larry Vanover, and Brian Gorman, the rest of the umpires today.
After that good start against the Giants, Delgado went back to Gwinnett and did not pitch well. He had a couple of rough outings, including his last one on the 26th of August. And I guess after pitching such a good game against the Giants, some of that's to be expected.
Yeah, you have a little bit of that letdown when you go back. It's like going from playing in the U.S. Open to just playing Saturday afternoon at the club with your buddies. So there's a little bit of that emotional letdown that I'm sure he experienced.
Alex, deep short, fires quickly, and Prado the scoop. What a play!
Martin.
Wow. First game started by Prado at first base since September 20th of 99. Or of 09, I beg your pardon. Of 09. And he got the tough one out of the way early, huh?
Yes,
Boy,
he did.
Oh boy.
The ball will find you every time. We're so used to seeing Alex make that play, and so used to seeing Freddie make the scoop on the other end. But nice going, Martin. Way to get yourself in the game right away. Or Martin, as he was introduced in the pregame.
Martin Pardo. Braves had a youngster doing the PA announcements before the game today. That was a lot of fun. As James Loney bats and takes ball 2.
Well, you could forgive Martin if he got confused. Not only was his name introduced wrong, but he's playing a different position today, so he might have been scratching his head saying, well, maybe there is somebody else over there at first base today.
He may have had to dig deep in his locker for his first baseman's glove.
Didn't he play first base when the Braves traded Teixeira? He played a few games over
Quite
there.
a bit. Yeah, he's had plenty of games over there. It's been a long time in between.
And a strike to James Loney. Fellas, this guy is hit down in the order for most of his career with the Dodgers, but he's been terrific hitting in front of Matt Kemp, as you'd expect.
Doing a lot of little things in this spot, too.
Like walking. He's had a couple of sacrifices in this series. And he's aboard with 1 out in the first. Here's the Braves lineup today defensively. Diaz gets the start in right today. Jose Constanza in left. First start for Jack Wilson, giving Chipper the day off. And David Ross behind the plate with Clayton Kershaw pitching against Atlanta for Los Angeles.
Here's the veteran Jack Wilson getting the nod at third today. I know he was anxious to get out there in the Braves uni for the first time.
Big swing by Matt Kemp.
Well, we've been talking a lot about how the roster has changed really since the trading deadline, but now even more so in the last couple of days with the addition of Jack Wilson and Matt Diaz. All the more tools for Freddie to use on a daily basis.
Braves at 81-57 for the year. 8.5 behind the Phillies in the East, 7.5 ahead of St. Louis in the wild card.
To emphasize how important it's going to be today to hold the Dodgers down the best you can. The last 10 starts for Kershaw, the opponent scored 1, 2, 1, 1, 4, 2, 2, 0, 4, 0. They're not getting anything off the guy.
Two and two to Kemp. Have a seat. 2 outs.
Got like that.
Pitcher's pitch right there. That's the one you practice in the bullpen over and over and over again. Outside corner, knee high, and I don't know if that was just not having faced Delgado where Kemp was looking for something else or just didn't think he'd throw him a fastball in that situation.
Randall's first strikeout. Here's Juan Rivera. He's been a difference maker for the Dodgers too.
Boy, oh boy, you look at some of the numbers that since he's been in their lineup, and it's hard to figure. It's how can anybody let him go if this guy's so valuable to the Dodgers?
High, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Dodgers are 14-5 when he starts in left field and 10-0 when he bats cleanup. Makes you wonder how anybody else, like I say, would have let him go.
Oh, yeah. Good breaking ball there. Had Rivera ducking out of the way.
Well, we've talked about it so much. There's not many secrets nowadays. You can see video on guys, but you still have to get in that box and experience what they're doing and see it to believe it. So you're going to see a little bit of that, I would think, the first time through the lineup.
There's nothing you can do to simulate the release point and seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hand if you're the hitter until you get in there and find out how quickly the ball gets on you if a guy does throw hard.
Tipped and caught. Delgado, an impressive start. He strikes out Kemp. He strikes out Rivera. And now the Braves go after Clayton Kershaw in the first. Delgado perhaps on his way to a canine kind of day. He picked up 2 in the first. Here's the Braves. Sorry, fellas. Here's the Braves batting order. It's a different looking starting 9. Easy, fellas. It's early. Dan Uggla in the cleanup spot. He's homered the last 2 ball games, and Jack Wilson gets the start over at third.
Facing Dodgers left-hander Clayton Kershaw. Got a lot of numbers to throw at you on this young man. 17-5 on the year with a 2.45. You see his breakdown. His first 19 games of the year, 9-4 with a 3. He's figured something out here lately. 8-1 over his last 9.
Michael Bourne fouls 1 out of play and quickly down 0-2.
Just not giving up any hits either. He's just dynamite. Quickly establishing himself as one of the best in the league. His 4 keys to success. Got a good fastball, good curve, an excellent slider. That's been his best pitch that he's improved on, and he is one of the best in the league.
And he gets Bourne on 3 pitches. And you will probably see a lot of strikeouts from Kershaw. After all, fellas, he leads the league in that category. Dodgers defensively behind him. No surprises in the outfield. That's their starting trio. Aaron Miles back at third base. James Loney can really pick it at first, and Ron Barajas is catching Kershaw today.
That strikeout for Kershaw establishes a career high for him, 213th on the year.
And maybe the scariest thing of all for the rest of the National League is that Kershaw's 23.
Well, yeah, I mean, he is 23, but in talking to some of their guys over there, he doesn't pitch like a 23-year-old. He's wise beyond his years and really, like I say, is starting to figure some things out.
And this is his 3rd full year already. First couple of years, he was right at 500, but he knows how good he is now, how good he can be.
Team makes contact, but it's right at Kemp in center. And 2 are out.
He pitched against the Braves back on April 21st in L.A. And in fact, this is the first time he's ever pitched at Turner Field. But their bullpen was a little used up, real tired. They were trying to get him through the 9th inning. He had thrown a jillion pitches, and then with 2 outs in the 9th, they gave up a run-scoring hit to David Ross that I believe tied the game and sent it into extra innings.
It was a 2-out, 2-strike pitch to David Ross, and it gave the Braves the lead. They chased Kershaw. They won the game on a Kemp walk-off homer out west. As Matty Diaz bats for the first time this afternoon, 267 his numbers for the year.
To tell you something about his luck against the Braves, though, he's made 3 starts against Atlanta, has no record, 0-0, and the Braves average against him is 156.
Well, his situation against the Braves where he hasn't been able to win kind of has mirrored his early in his career. Like you said, he's around 500, but each year he's had a good ERA, an ERA where you would figure he'd win more games. Might be that situation where he's pitching just well enough not to lose.
And that's why the Braves got Matty Diaz. He rifles an 0-2 pitch right back up the middle for the first hit for Atlanta today.
Matty doesn't care who it is if he's left-handed.
He does not.
I don't care who you are and what your numbers are. If you're throwing with the left hand, you're in trouble. But to finish my thought, I mean, 8-8 with a 2.7 in his first year, 13-10 with a 2.9. And you look at that and you think, man, he should be winning more games than that. But sometimes you get, as a young pitcher, you get in those games where they're close and you're not quite pitching well enough to win, but you're not going to lose. And it seems to me that this year he's figured out how to win a lot of those close games.
And he's a tough guy to run against. He's got a terrific pickoff move, so keep that in mind as the day goes on. It's Dan Uggla, 32 homers. One shy of his career high. Bats for the first time as well today.
And has had a good series.
short. Gordon flips to second. Sellers makes the play, and that retires Atlanta in the first. The duel is on. Delgado and Kershaw through a scoreless first. South is brought to you in part by Academy Sports and Outdoors, by AT&T, by Delta Airlines, and by Ford. Well, I think, fellas, beating the Dodgers would be a capital idea today. Los Angeles has won the first 2 games of the series. We told you when they came to town they were riding a hot streak, and that has continued. In fact, the Dodgers' good play is the subject of our Georgia lottery, hitting the jackpot.
11-1 over those 12 games with a ton of runs scored. Now, the offense has been impressive because of the way they've been shuffling their lineup. Like last night, it was half the Albuquerque Isotopes that were out there, and they still played a good game. Even though they only scored 2 runs, it was enough to win the ballgame. But the reason they won was because of their pitching. Their pitching's been pretty good all year long, and it has been still through this stretch.
That was a beautiful segue to that. You're on your game today, Chip. Good.
You were listening?
Of course.
Oh.
I mean, I'm new at this. I'm trying to soak up the knowledge.
Oh.
I mean, I'm like a young pitcher hanging around Greg Maddux right now. I mean, give me more.
Here's Andre Ethier to lead off the second. You'll find out, Tom, less is always more in this business. Ethier with a .293 average. 11 homers and 58 driven in. Jack Wilson. Beautiful play.
Most players will tell you that they want a ball hit to them right away. In a situation like this, you're playing your first game with a new team. Hit one to me so I can get that one out of the way and settle in and realize that it's just a ball game like anywhere else. Nice play by Wilson.
Yeah, Jack, that's part of what Jack brings to the table here. A good defensive player, can play a number of positions on the infield. And again, that same old word we keep using, flexibility. It gives Freddie a lot of flexibility and a lot of options.
Here's Aaron Miles. He's the Dodger third baseman today. Miles with 3 homers and a .282 batting average. Well, you got to think that Jack Wilson, fellas, is on cloud 9. He's got a chance to finally get to the playoffs after a long and distinguished major league career with the Pirates in Seattle.
He'll feel even better once he does things like he just did to help contribute to the cause.
Yeah. It makes you realize, how fortunate particularly the players here in Atlanta, have been for so many years getting an opportunity to play in the playoffs. And then you have a guy like Jack, like you said, who's been around for so long and been a good player and hasn't even been close to the playoffs.
As you saw, 1,300 plus games. And look at the speed in left of Costanza to track down the Miles drive to left center field. And quickly 2 outs. Look at this list, Tommy. I mean, it really is pretty amazing.
It is. I mean, there's some good names on that list right there. And, you know, you take it a step further for Jack. He's been playing 11 years. He's played on one winning team that whole time as the 2009 Mariners. And, you know, it just goes to show you. You just don't know. I mean, you think sometimes, you know, you're going to get to the playoffs. You're going to get there year after year. And, man, you just never get the chance again or at all.
Barajas a quick strike. Barajas had a good month of August. The Braves have held him in check in this series.
Well, Delgado is spotting that fastball. If it's not catching the corner, it's just missing away to the right-handers.
And he's sitting at 93 and 94.
Nice and easy. Nice, easy delivery. And I think that's part of what Joe was talking about, too. You have to see it to believe it. It looks nice and easy, but that ball gets on top of you in a hurry.
Yeah, it's a short arm action. I think hitters can probably track the ball pretty good after he breaks from his glove. But it's the release point and the zip.
Popped up. Martin Prado in foul ground at first. And Delgado has an easy time in the top of the Dodgers' second. David Ross, Alex Gonzalez, and Jack Wilson coming up for Atlanta. Of the Dodgers. While we wrap up the series with Los Angeles, the big college football kickoff weekend continues tonight on Fox Sports South. A lot of national buzz about the Texas A&M Aggies program potentially moving to the SEC. You'll see Texas A&M play tonight against SMU. That game kicks off at 7:30. Texas A&M and SMU right here on Fox Sports South.
Gosh, she married an older guy, didn't she? Oh, it's that other. Oh, okay. It's kind of blocked from my view. Okay.
Yeah.
David Ross leads things off. Mentioned David Ross had that big 9th inning hit out in Los Angeles April 21st. A 2-out, 2-strike single that chased Kershaw and denied him a chance for a win against Atlanta. And he pops one into center. And Kemp has it for the first out.
Clayton Kershaw is from Highland Park High School in Dallas. Still makes his home in Dallas. And for Georgia football fans, you remember Matthew Stafford, certainly the quarterback of the Bulldogs. And Stafford and Kershaw were high school teammates, played football and baseball together.
Downstairs to Braves shortstop Alex Gonzalez.
And he just ruined a perfect day. He'd thrown 12 pitches, all strikes, but he missed there.
Got him rattled now.
This guy's got some shoulders on him, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. A little bit of an unorthodox delivery, but certainly he's making it work.
He has 2 shutouts this year, both of them at home. May 29th, a 2-hit shutout against the Marlins, and then a month later, roughly in June 20th, at home against Detroit, a 2-hit shutout at that good hitting Detroit team.
Yeah, he's been off the charts good at home. 58 starts. He has the 8th lowest ERA, 2nd lowest opponent batting average. And the only guy he's behind was a pretty good lefty, too, Sandy Koufax.
Well, there are some who have made the comparison of Kershaw and Koufax. Don't know if that's fair to Clayton at this point. Nothing against his stuff, but there was only one Sandy Koufax.
Well, it may be a little early on the comparison, but I still think Matt Diaz could have walked up and got a hit off Sandy today, too.
Alex giving him a good battle here in the 2nd inning with the bases empty and 1 out. Talked a lot about Matt Kemp maybe being the MVP of the National League. Dodger fans think that Kershaw's the best pitcher in the National League. He's definitely a Cy Young candidate this season. That's going to be quite a race between Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee of the Phillies. I think he gave up 2 runs in August. Did Cliff, and we'll see him tomorrow. Tim Lincecum has to be in that discussion, although the 1-loss record isn't what you think. He's had 14 games, fellas, with 1 run or less in support.
Ian Kennedy would be an outside candidate. For me personally, I think it boils down to this kid in Halladay, and I think obviously in Halladay's case, he's got the hardware already, so it's always a little bit tougher to unseat the guy who's been there, done that. But I was reading some articles earlier today, and Clayton saying he doesn't want to be in that conversation. Well, you're in it.
And he just struck out Alex. Well, you look at the Phillies, and with no disrespect to Roy Halladay, quite obviously, Phillies are the best team in baseball. Kershaw's pitching for a team under 500. Has more wins, has a lower ERA, and has more strikeouts.
That makes a difference to me. If you're pitching that well for a club that's not in the hunt or is sub 500, you got something working that year. Pretty special year.
Absolutely. It's like, and I don't know the exact year, but the year Carlton won 27 games for Philadelphia, and it was the percentage of games that he won for his team that year was just off the charts, and this is pretty similar.
Felix Hernandez with Seattle was, I think, a game over 500.
Yeah. Something
like that.
And again, when you're in a situation like Halladay is, where you've got those guys surrounding you in the rotation as well, that takes a lot of pressure off of you. This kid here has kind of been, he's been the main event. He's been the guy that has to stop losing streaks. I mean, it's all kind of fallen on his shoulders, and he certainly has been up to the task.
And he takes care of Jack Wilson.
And let's face it, pitching on the West Coast, a lot of people don't hear about how well you're pitching until maybe 2 or 3 days after the fact.
They're hearing about him today. He's through 2 scoreless in Atlanta. Randall Delgado has set down the last 5 Dodgers he has faced. He has struck out a pair. And the young pitching featured by Atlanta today, the subject of our Geico quote of the day, and it comes from Tim Hudson, fellas.
Talking about Delgado, starting with Delgado, we've got some power arms that seem to be polished above their age at this point. It's impressive. His future and the Braves' future is bright. That it is. And speaking of bright, fellas, I wish everybody at the park and everybody listening today could have seen Tim Hudson walk into the clubhouse. Woo!
Justin Sellers pops one into left. Constanza's under it. 6 in a row.
I mean, Tim was decked out sharp. Had a real nice pair of gray slacks on. Just a high gloss finish on his shoes. White shirt, nice blue tie, and a crushed velvet blue, dark blue sport coat.
Kim must have had something to do with that.
I mean, sharp. Chris Van Zant came running over and said, I just want to touch it. It looks like Willy Wonka.
Strike one to Kershaw. Be careful, this guy's a good hitter. At 226.
But getting back to his point, you know, of the younger pitchers that are here by and large across baseball, but particularly the guys that the Braves are bringing up, I have to agree with them. They do seem to be a whole lot more polished at this stage of the game than we ever were.
Told you Kershaw can hit. That's the first Los Angeles safety of the game. And he drives a single to left and is aboard with 1 out for the top of the order.
And, of course, we've been talking about Julio Teheran all year long, and he is with the big club now and picked up some hardware today out in front of the Braves dugout from Frank Wren. Among the awards were the Most Valuable Pitcher Award for the International League, also the Rookie of the Year in the International League. So congratulations to Julio. 15 wins this year in AAA.
And I believe he's scheduled to start one of the games against the Mets. The doubleheader that will make up on Thursday. That is, of course, weather permitting. The forecast on the East Coast this coming week is not real good. Ross can't find it. It bounces off of his toe right in front of the mound. And taking second on the play is the pitcher, Clayton Kershaw.
That hit the front bevel of the plate. I'm not sure it ever even got to David Ross, did it?
That's the
did it go off his mask?
Proverbial 60-footer.
It's a wild pitch. Puts Kershaw at second. Now D. Gordon, a 1-2 count. That's tough play. High throw. Good job by Prado to save that ball from ending up in right field. An infield hit for Gordon. First and third for the Dodgers with 1 out.
You know, once that rolls out onto the grass, you have very little chance to throw him out. And with a runner in scoring position, you don't want to make a mistake here. You're almost better off, and David Ross may have been yelling to him to let it go, just hoping it might catch the edge of the grass and kick over foul. It was a great play by Prado, saved a run.
Yeah, that's the highlight of the play right there, saving the run. But you're right. That it's your competitiveness tells you can make virtually any play at any time, and particularly for a young player, that's the tough thing to learn is when you have to just eat it and realize that your best play right here is to make no play, because the alternative is you might make a big mistake. It's going to be interesting this time around here now. Having seen Delgado, we've talked about him. Everything's hard. Hadn't used much of an off-speed pitch. To me, he's either going to have to break something out or he's going to have to start pitching these guys inside a little bit more to get him off his stuff.
Late swing by Loney, strike one.
Last night, if it weren't for the extra inning heroics of D. Gordon with his double and then scoring what proved to be the winning run, I think the MVP was Loney with what he did to get him into scoring position. 4 sacrifice bunts in his career, and 2 of them came last night.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at home watching that he was sacrifice bunting, but tell you what, he did a nice job. Got them both down, and turned out to be a big part of the game.
But he's down 2 strikes. And now he's down on 3 strikes. And Gordon is able to steal second. 15th steal for Gordon.
That was a delayed variety, too.
And Loney's down on strikes.
There's a delay on the call, too. I don't know if I ever saw Larry Vanover make a call.
Tried to catch the Braves napping, and I think Alex was trying to sell the fact that maybe he tagged him on the foot as he went by. Yeah, he never gave a sign.
You know, I was looking at it thinking if they showed that they had the ball, that he was going to call him out, but he never did.
First base open. Kemp hits with 2 outs. Runners second and third. All Matt could do is shake his head at that pitch. Again, Anthony's outside corner.
First time in this series they've pitched to him, too, and they didn't have to, at least so far. 5 walks in the series, and he's also been hit by a pitch.
Well, it's either a vote of confidence to Delgado, or you're in that situation in the season where you've got a little bit of a cushion for your playoff spot, and to a certain extent with the uncertainty in the rotation, there's going to be some auditioning going on here down the stretch. Maybe they're trying to find out what this kid's capable of doing. If you're in pitching in the postseason, you're going to have some of these situations, so no better time than now to expose you to them.
Good stop by David Ross.
A beauty. That's a good point, Tom. And in that start against the Giants, he was never in any trouble. He had a no-hitter through 6 innings, and then when he gave up a run, it was to the leadoff batter Ross in the 7th for a home run, and was out of the game right after.
Swing, belted, 3-0. Matt Kemp has hit 32 of the Dodgers' 101 home runs this year, and he just gave Clayton Kershaw a big 3rd inning lead with 2 outs.
I'm not sure what the pitch before it was, but I think he tried to come back with it, maybe a changeup, and left that up in the zone where a guy like Matt Kemp is not going to miss it.
What a year Kemp is having. And now Juan Rivera bats. That is down a strike.
Highest percentage in the majors, his 32 of the Dodgers' 101.
I would say that's pretty good, huh?
Sensational year. I know this, the ball had not even gotten as far as Jose Constanza, and David Ross was already turning around to Tony Randazzo asking for another baseball. An eye on Ross. Ball, please.
Well, that's part of the learning process, you know, beyond the situation he was in. But he threw the pitch before, which, like I said, I think was the same pitch, and adrenaline and whatnot, he throws it in the dirt. Then he tries to come back with the same pitch and make the adjustment. Takes too much off of it and hangs it, and that's stuff you learn. But you don't learn it by never being in those situations. So, you know, again, my hat's off to Freddie and the guys in the dugout for letting him pitch right there. And that's, again, one of the benefactors of having a little bit of a cushion this time of year. You can afford to do those things.
Rivera drives one to left center. Constanza is there. So's Bourne. And who makes the catch? It's Michael. Braves center fielder hauls in that drive to retire the side, but Matt Kemp solidifying his MVP potential. A 3-run homer puts LA in front. Dealers. Jose Constanza starts things off and is down a quick strike. Kershaw starting to get loose. That one was 95 miles an hour.
That and a 3-run lead will get you going.
Tough play. Infield hit.
If there's one guy on the Dodger field that can't stand there and go, hey, come on, it's D. Gordon.
Yeah.
Because D. Gordon loved this.
Yes. Well, that's using your speed right there. That's why with 2 strikes, you just try to put the ball in play. You don't know what's going to happen. And once Kershaw, like so many lefties, falls out to the third base side of the mound, once that his back was turned to that ball, nobody had a chance.
Meeting on the mound briefly. See how the Braves handle Constanza at first with nobody out. Delgado, the Braves pitcher. 0-for-3 with a couple of strikeouts. He has 1 sacrifice.
We taped a Sunday school session today with Bobby Dews that we will run next week on the art of bunting fundamentals. He's such a guru on that. And one thing he told us I'll share with you in advance.
There's the pickoff move of Kershaw. Costanza with blazing speed is tracked down by Gordon, who's just as fast.
Good pickoff move. He didn't mention don't get picked off in a sacrifice, but that was part of it too.
Yes, yes.
Well, one thing that's applied to what Delgado tried to do on his first attempt was, and Bobby gave a lot of credit to Carlos Tosca of the Braves coaching staff, that if you're sacrificing, see the ball on the ground before you ever start trying to run. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to leave the box before you get it down, it's that much harder to do.
You guys see that little conversation with Costanza and Kershaw after the tag was applied? Don't know if Jose was talking to Kershaw about his hands or what he saw, but they said something to each other after the out was made.
Didn't catch it.
Delgado down on strikes. 4 for Kershaw. Watch this.
Huh.
Maybe he was asking him what he saw. You know,
friendly.
Why'd you take off? Well, I thought I saw your hands in a different spot, and so just giving him a little tip.
2 outs for Bourne. Michael jumps on the first pitch, and that one inside the line to left. A 2-out double for Bourne. That gives him a 4-game hitting streak. And his 30th double.
Good fastball too, running away from him. And now the pickoff looms huge.
I was going to say, as in so many cases now, there's somebody on the bench that's kicking themselves in the butt. And in this case, Jose Costanza for getting picked off.
Braves had a chance last night to get a run in if they'd gotten the sacrifice bunt down and weren't successful.
The first 2 games of the series, Joe, I think it's safe to say it's been one of missed opportunities for the Braves offense.
Yeah, this is a big at bat right here. Martin Prado, we got Diaz on deck, and Braves have not been good with runners in scoring position in this series. 190, 4 for 21 in this situation, as opposed to the Dodgers, who were hitting 350 at 7 for 20.
That's a hot team.
I mean, that's so seems to follow the script when you're talking about teams that are hot and not. And you usually, with a team that's don't going well, you can look right to that number right there, runners in scoring position, and see where they're at. And that usually will tell a big part of the story.
1-2. Washington will host the Dodgers coming up next week. The Braves will make their way to Philadelphia. We open up a series with the Phillies tomorrow night.
Dodgers are going to see Strasburg in that series
on Tuesday,
weather permitting.
If there's any question, I wouldn't put him out there.
And Martin down on strikes. Kershaw has punched out 5 men through 3 innings. And after 3, he enjoys a 3-0 lead. Matt Kemp has hit a long home run for the Dodgers, and as we expected, strikeouts coming quite frequently in today's ball game. Not surprising when you look at our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard.
Yeah, you got two rotations top to bottom that are filled with the guys that can get a lot of strikeouts. You see the Braves there at the top of the list with 8.2, and the Dodgers not far behind at 7.7. So got some good solid arms in this series, some good young arms, particularly both teams in the back end of their bullpen. So strikeouts have certainly been a big part of this series.
Top two teams in the National League in pitching. I'm going to have to check with Rob Smith or one of the guys down below on this road trip about last night's game. See if we can get a chart.
Ethier hits the first pitch to short.
Because even talking to some scouts after the game, everybody was just going on and on about how many guys were coming in throwing 95 or better last night, including the starting pitchers. And I'd be curious to know, of all the pitches thrown last night, what percentage were 95 or higher. It was incredible. Of course, a ton of scouts in the ballpark today and will be for the rest of the year. Some scouts from teams doing advance work already for postseason and for upcoming series.
Aaron Miles, the batter. He flied out his first time up.
I imagine there's got to be some guys scouting this time of year too to see teams call ups and prospects, potential trades for the offseason and such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wouldn't expect any deals, many deals, if any, to be made between now and the end of the season, because any players you acquire now are not eligible for postseason. And I'm like you, Tom. I agree like with Jack Wilson, we were talking about what he gives Freddie Gonzalez in terms of flexibility, but the team is really set up in a good way right now for when Frank Wren and his staff and Freddie put the team together for postseason. They're going to have a lot of options about how they want to configure the team.
They are. There's going to be some tough choices.
Yeah.
In between hop, handled at second by Dan Ugla. Miles is retired. And 2 out. Fans sign up today for the 2012 Braves Fantasy Camp. Enjoy a week of baseball at Disney's Wide World of Sports with Braves legends Steve Avery, Javi Lopez, Sid Bream, Otis Nixon, Marquise Grissom, and others. Register today at Braves.com/fantasycamp.
You enjoy going to fantasy camp?
I haven't been yet. They're working me hard for this year.
You got to do it.
Yeah, I do.
It's fun. Looking at a championship coach at fantasy camp a couple years ago.
Is that right?
Bobby Wine and I, yes,
wow.
ran the table.
Well, hey, draft me and sign me. We'll see.
1 ball, 1 strike to Barajas.
Would I have to pitch if I went? Because I'd probably go ahead and make
You can hit 4th if you pitch.
An advance appointment with my doctor to get my shoulder fixed again.
Like I said, you might hit 4th.
A small consolation for having a scope in my shoulder again.
But that is a great week of baseball in Orlando. You play on the Braves spring training field. Hang out in the locker room.
Sherwin Williams painting the corners. Did this one miss? Yep. A little wide.
And Barajas aboard with a 2-out walk. Second walk of the game for Delgado. And Sellers will be the hitter. I like this guy. Joe, you made the point last night. Slightly built, but he's got some pop in his bat.
He throws the big end of the bat. He gets the barrel to the baseball.
Sellers has played second. He's played short in the series. He's batting 8th today. He led off yesterday and hit 8th in game 1. He scored a run in 11 of the last 14 Dodger games. He's getting a good long look as to whether he'll fit into Los Angeles' plans for next season.
They can never get their house in order. They got some good young players on this team. There's some talent to build around.
And Sellers hit by a pitch, riding up and in. And he's hurting. He got popped pretty hard on that 2-2 pitch.
Even a yell from David Ross to look out. Right on the wrist or maybe the heel of the hand.
You know he doesn't want to come out of the game with the opportunity
No.
he has to get out there and show himself. This is the last thing he wants.
Well, you could see his hand shaking.
Well, I think that's something Delgado is going to have to do here. Like I said, the second time through the lineup, pitch inside. Certainly not do that, but going to have to do something to get them off his hard fastball, hard slider away. Yeah, this will probably be a go ahead and run the bases, finish the inning, and let's see how you feel when the inning's over.
I always love it. I mean, I don't love it when a little kid gets hit. Don't get me wrong. I love it in Little League when some young man gets hit in the arm or the shoulder, and then by the time he gets to first, he's limping. Strike one.
Kershaw has a single, and he's scored a run today. That came on the Kemp homer.
Yes, he did. I've been saying a lot of nice things about Clayton Kershaw today and admiring his ability and certainly his season, but he's also has a great reputation of being one of the good guys too. He and his wife have a foundation set up to help children in Africa, raising money to feed hungry kids in Africa. He's a very stand-up young man. And looks like he just enjoys playing too.
Likes being out there.
Delgado strikes him out. That ends the Dodger fourth inning. Middle of the Braves order coming up. It's their second time through. Dan Uggla bats second.
Dog's not going to eat a dog. Some good-looking dogs at the park today, though. Seen a lot of golden retrievers and a lot of pugs. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Maybe there's not as many pugs as I thought.
Matt Diaz goes to work. Hit a 2-strike pitch up the middle for the Braves' first hit of the day.
Well, that ratio, I would say, is pretty good. 33-5. That's getting it done. Which is considered to be filling the strike zone.
And I think 3 of them were to Alex Gonzalez in that one at bat.
Yeah.
Several foul balls. Back to the screen. Diaz, another hit. Cliff Lee, consider yourself warned.
Well, I was just thinking, you know, you can say all you want about any of these guys that Matt faces, and it's like, I haven't heard of them. I haven't read about them. Still got to throw it over the plate.
Braves baseball on Fox Sports South, brought to you by Miller High Life. This summer, find out how giving back bottle caps can give returning vets a piece of the high life. Go to MillerHighLife.com for details.
There's something else he does that, even with the good move that we've already seen today, he is quick to the plate with that slide step. It's not at all like his leg kick when he's in the windup.
Which, again, for a kid at 23 years old, typically not something you would see. Most kids at this age, they don't care about the running game. They care a little bit. They listen to their coaches. They try to work on it. But for the most part, that's not a big part of their game. He's obviously learned how to make the slide step every pitch, which, like you say, makes it awful hard to run on him.
And no real drop in velocity either.
No, and I've never bought into that if you slide step, you're going to lose velocity. You can still slide step and get a good hip turn, although he really doesn't get much of a hip turn. He's still driving off that back leg. He's quick to get on his back leg and get going towards home plate. But, you know, if you do it that way, or at least get a little bit of a hip turn, even though you're slide stepping, you're not going to lose velocity if you do it right.
And he strikes out Ugla. That's 6 on the day for Clayton Kershaw.
Take a look at this again when he comes out of his stretch. Watch how his upper body is kind of leaning forward. That may have been what sold Constanza. Watch his upper body start, you know, before he ever broke, before his feet ever separated.
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of guys, when they slide step, will do similar to what he does, where it literally, they're just falling forward. And he has some of that, but he does it in a way where, even though he starts to drift, he still loads on his back leg and gets a lot of drive off his back leg. A lot of guys just fall forward and have no leg push, and that's where you get guys that lose their velocity because they're getting no push.
This is a throwback, but when Tommy John came back from what was then described as Tommy John surgery, and he had lost a lot of velocity, one of the things that he was impossible to run on. He didn't throw hard anymore, and he just had a step to the plate.
Ross pops one up. Sellers overran it, but held on.
He's got his wrist taped from when he got hit by the pitch. Called off Ethier, staggered, but held on.
That's a long way for a second baseman to go right there. It's hard for them almost not to overrun the ball to a certain extent, but made a nice recovery. Did Tommy John throw hard at some point in his career?
Yeah, early in his career, he had a good arm. And when he came back, he had to make adjustments like a lot of guys do, but he had to make adjustments on his stuff. Pitched a long time after his surgery, but just virtually impossible to steal on.
Fly ball left center, but Kemp glides over and makes the play. We're through 4. Dodgers will send the top of their order up to support Kershaw, who leads 3-0.
Come back and help this team out that's obviously flying right now any way that I can. I know it's cliche and all that sort of stuff, but it's true. Flaherty, Venners and Kimbrel have been at the back of that bullpen and they've been dominating all year, so by no means do I expect to come in and just kick one of them out or any that sort of stuff. I just want to be there for whenever Freddie says, hey, if it happens to be the 5th inning or the 15th, I don't care. I just want to go out there and compete and pitch.
Fellas, he's got 3 weeks to get back into major league pennant race pitching form.
Yeah, and I still, again, same old thing. Another guy gives you more options. He's a different look. You can use Peter to give some of those guys at the back end a rest every now and then, but I think certainly his style of pitching, what he brings to the bullpen, I still think, as good as that bullpen has been, his style, what he brings, has been missed a little bit, and it's been a hard void to fill.
D. Gordon pops one into shallow left. Constanza playing shallowly, can't get it. It trickles past him. Gordon around second, thinks about 3, and stops with a bloop double. He's done this a couple of times in the series.
And every time is when he's behind in the count. Just a little flip. Braves have been playing him the other way and shallow, but not shallow enough that time.
Costanza almost got to it, but just underneath his outstretched glove. But going back to the Peter Moylan point, yeah, I mean, it's, a lot of teams now have that one guy that's a different look. For the Braves, it's Peter with a little bit of the sidearm thing, but then the ground ball thing, he's a guy you can bring in the middle of the game somewhere in a crucial situation where you need a ground ball double play, and he can provide that. And most of those guys down there are strikeout guys now.
I couldn't agree more. They've missed that. They've missed that sixth inning, or even sometimes the seventh inning, when they just need to get 2 outs, a first and third situation, something like that, and try to curtail an inning.
Loney's right on top of the plate. And now Delgado behind 2-0 gets a visit from David Ross. Back to the mound. Good play. Loney's out number 1.
Good job by Delgado fielding his position, checking the runner. And then more importantly, after checking the runner, taking the time to set himself and make a good throw and not throw that ball away.
Now the Braves will walk Matt Kemp. They had this opportunity back in the third inning. We talked about it before the sequence began. Dodgers had runners second and third, 2 outs. They elected to pitch to Kemp, and Matt made him pay with a 3-run homer, and that's all the offense we've seen today.
Well, maybe a little bit of a lesson learned.
I think they knew that there was a chance that could happen. I think you're right, Tommy. I think they were just trying to find out a little something about Randall Delgado. And instead this time we'll take their chances with Rivera. Time now for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Here's what we're talking about if you missed it. Came with 2 out. Runners at second and third in the third inning. They pitched to Kemp and he made him pay. His 32nd homer. He's up to 105 RBIs.
And that puts him second behind Prince Fielder now in the National League RBI chase. Fielder with 107 at the start of play today. Kemp leapfrogs ahead of Ryan Howard of the Phillies, whom we'll also see tomorrow. So Kemp's been walked intentionally 4 times in this series. He's at first, Gordon at second, and Juan Rivera in the batter's box.
There are 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the lineup. Loney, Kemp, and Rivera have all had a 3 RBI game in this series.
And Ethier's a part of that. Delta Airlines on deck batter has had good success against the Braves.
Still nursing a sore knee that's affecting his swing and the way he goes after pitches.
That's a comebacker. Delgado, wild throw to second, scooped up by Ugla. A 1-4 force play retires Kemp at second, Gordon to third, Rivera to first, now 2 outs.
Well, good fielding position again. Nice job. Ball hit him in the leg, finding it. Now here's where that youthful exuberance came into play again. I'm not so sure I would have made that play, but might have taken the safer route at first base. But good throw and a good scoop by Ugla, and good play all around.
Let's face it, guys. There have been a couple of plays today that he's been saved. Runs have been saved when he made plays he probably shouldn't have. The play at first on the swinging bunt by D. Gordon when Prado bailed him out, and there Ugla saves a run. But just a young guy trying to do a little too much in reaction.
92 pitches for Delgado. Braves would like to get him through this fifth.
I think he's done a good job after giving up the homer, where he could have suddenly started walking the ballpark, trying to be careful, not give up another one, but he's stayed aggressive. Just needs to finish this inning off.
His spot's due third when the Braves come up. Fly ball to right. Matty Diaz is under it. And Delgado indeed does finish off the fifth inning. Good work for the young right-hander for Atlanta.
SEC Gridiron Live. Here's one guy who knows a thing or two about SEC football, former Florida Gator Kevin Carter. He's joined by Randy Cross, Tim Couch, and Christina Acra. They're all SEC football all the time, and they want to hear from you. Tune in every Wednesday night at 10 Eastern on Fox Sports South.
Produced by our pal Bill Cochran. They're off and running.
Did I say her name right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, you throw those things at me without me getting a chance to look at them. Didn't want to butcher the poor girl's name, so.
No, you nailed it.
Yes, thanks.
Jack Wilson, the batter, he struck out his first time. Kershaw has struck out 6, as Tommy mentioned earlier. A new career high for a season for the Dodger lefty. He's up 218 strikeouts in 202 innings. Little pop towards Sellers at second. Justin's got it, 1 out. Trivia time, fellas. The AT&T Uverse TV trivia question. A lot of pressure, Tommy. Joe nailed it last night. Who's the last National League left-handed pitcher to win 20 games? First name that popped in for me was John Tudor.
I had a John, but it was John Smiley.
John Tudor, really? Before me? Really?
I'm not going to give you any more credit than we absolutely have to.
Okay.
The first one was 91. Tudor's was before that, so no Tudor's wrong.
Randy Johnson?
Yeah, I like that.
Cole Hamill 120?
Don't think so. He was kind of a 500 guy for the first couple of years, and then 17 or 18.
Juan Santana. No, I don't think he won 20 with the Mets. Slap toward third. Miles right there. And 2 quick outs in the Braves' 5th. And the day is done for Randall Delgado. Get your tickets now to see the Rock Legends Styx perform a free post-game concert. That's presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. That's after the Braves play the Mets Saturday, September 17th. Get your tickets and VIP field passes today at Braves.com/Styx. And here's a thrilling moment for Antoine Richardson. His big league debut just called up today by the Braves after a good year in the minor leagues.
Not only that, he's been at it a while. He'll be 28 years old next month.
And he swings and has a base hit on the first pitch he sees.
Now that's a hot dog right there. That is awesome.
Smile, Antoine. That's a hit indeed.
Originally in the Giants organization. Played last year in Mississippi and Gwinnett. He is 5'8", weighs 165 pounds, out of Nassau, Bahamas, and went to Vanderbilt. And that was a first pitch too, wasn't it? Wow, what a thrill.
So speed aboard, speed in the box.
Immediately off the bench. Everybody appreciating that for a guy who's spent so much time trying to get here. What a great thing. Looking back at the beginning of his career for Richardson, these are consecutive seasons of stolen bases. 40, 66, 43, 33, and last year combined 27.
Great to see the Braves reward a man who's had good work toiling in relative anonymity in the minor leagues. The first pitch he sees as a big leaguer is a single to right field.
He's probably thinking it's easy up here.
Braves about hit the Dodgers 5-4, but trail where it counts on a Matt Kemp homer. 3-0 is our score.
As a hitter, especially a left-handed hitter against this guy, you got to respect the fastball because it's in the low to mid 90s. But then his breaking ball is hard too, and it starts at about the same eye level. You think it's a fastball, and it just drops like that.
.61 pitches for Kershaw, 50 strikes. And now 2-2. And he strikes out Michael Bourne for the second time. That gives him 7 for the game, and he leads through 5 by a 3-0 score.
for the 6th inning, and it's been a lot of what we talked about in the open and in the early part of the ball game. Clayton Kershaw, Matt Kemp for the Dodgers. Pretty much been the story. You see here Clayton Kershaw with the strikeout ball working. Michael Bourne, Jack Wilson, Dan Ugla. And the big blow for the Dodgers offensively, Matt Kemp with a 3-run homer off of Randall Delgado, which has accounted for all the scoring for the Dodgers. Pretty much what we talked about. Stud pitcher on the mound. We got an MVP candidate in the lineup, and they've been the story for the Dodgers. And Randall Delgado did a nice job for the Braves holding it together. And as usual with a lefty on the mound, Matt Diaz has a couple of hits.
Well done, Tommy. The AT&T call to the bullpen will feature Anthony Varvaro. He's on to pitch. For the Braves. It's Christian Martinez, I beg your pardon. Christian Martinez is into the game. Varvaro was up earlier, my mistake. 35th game for Christian. So Miles Barajas and Sellers in a 3-0 Dodger game.
Christian's job quite simple. Hold him right there.
And he's done that a lot. This guy has been a very valuable part of the Braves bullpen. He's pitched short relief, long relief. He's been a one-hitter specialist for the club. And he gets the first man he faces, Aaron Miles, swinging. Good start to the 6th inning. 1 up, 1 down. We all remember that marathon game against the Pirates. Braves wouldn't have won it without this guy pitching 6 innings of relief in that 19-inning game.
Yeah, like you said, Chip, he really has kind of been the jack of all trades out of that bullpen. Long man, 1-inning guy, 1-hitter guy. I mean, kind of a guy that really emerged in spring training and has been and earned himself an opportunity and has done nothing but impress with his work all year long.
A ball to Barajas, the Dodger catcher. Phillies and Florida are tied. That game's in Miami, bottom of the 6th, 2-2. And deflected out to second. That'll be a 1-4-3 put out. And the base is clear for Sellers. Registered today for the 2011 Braves postseason pre-sale event. Braves postseason tickets go on sale Monday, September 12th. You can be one of the first, though, to secure tickets to all 2011 Braves home games in the playoffs by registering online at braves.com/postseason. Braves magic number, Dave, 17 for the wild card. It was last night, I think that's the case.
Yeah, 16 to tie, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're trying to knock off St. Louis. The Cardinals 7.5 back. The Redbirds losing today. Pop fly and foul ground off the bat of Sellers. Christian Martinez with a 1-2-3 6th inning. Braves bats got to get busy now, down 3-0. Marquez out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, being honored with a standing ovation here at Turner Field. And the USAA would like to recognize our American military members here at Turner Field.
Standing ovation from the crowd, from both dugouts. It's a wonderful thing. The umpires, well deserved. And welcome back to the Coors Light 6th inning. Time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Great effort here by Jose Constanza off the little flip from D. Gordon. Almost came up with the catch. Great effort by Jose. And you can see how he just missed it. That was the Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
So we head through the lineup for a third time against Kershaw. Martin Prado starts it off. He's 0 for 2. Something else about this kid on the mound for the Dodgers. He does something rarely seen. He completes what he starts. He's got 5 complete games this year.
And the Braves have not scored a run since Uggla's home run in the second last night, so that's 13 straight innings. And they haven't scored without benefit of a home run since the third inning of Game 1.
In the dirt.
But you talk about frying pan and fire type situations. I mean, you got Kershaw today, you get Cliff Lee tomorrow, Vance Worley's 10-1, a rookie for the Phillies, and then Roy Oswalt Wednesday. The Braves will miss Hamels and Halladay, but I don't know that that's any consolation getting the other guys.
Nothing to it.
Rolled foul. And Martin will keep the at-bat alive. 3 hits in his last 20 at-bats.
Here's the pitching matchup for that Phillies series. Derek Lowe will go against Cliff Lee tomorrow. Derek's been on a good run lately, especially swinging the bat. Tim Hudson will go in Game 2 against Worley. And then Brandon Beachy back out there against Roy Oswalt, who has had an injury-plagued season.
Broken bat. Rivera in left. Prado sawed off. 1 away in the 6th. We welcome you back to Sunday Braves on Fox Sports South. Glad you're with us here at Turner Field. A good crowd for the wrap-up of our series with the Dodgers and the final game of the homestand. Our Sunday Braves broadcast brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. With my fine analysts, Joe Simpson and Tom Glavine. Chip Carey with you here at the TED.
Could be a little controversy there in Philadelphia as to who's going to be in their postseason rotation with what Worley's done and Oswalt coming back from injuries. With all the talk there was at the start of the year of the world's greatest rotation, which they've been pretty darn good. It's hard to imagine you'd be having a conversation about the postseason and their starting rotation, not including Roy Oswalt, but it could be the case.
I think they're just hoping he can finish, and stay healthy enough to finish the season, let alone pitch in the postseason.
And I think that's the bigger question for the Phillies. Who's going to finish games that their starters don't finish?
Well, Ryan Madsen's been doing a decent job lately. The story around baseball is if you can get in the Phillies bullpen, then you got a real good chance. Trouble is getting in the Phillies bullpen.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like that's been a conversation all year long, and it hasn't seemed to have been a detriment to them. They just keep on winning.
Yeah.
So they're finding ways to do it.
Roy Halladay pitching today down in Miami, and the Marlins have taken a 3-2 lead in that ball game in South Florida. Kershaw leading this one, trying to earn his 18th victory of the season. Just missed the inside corner.
Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. Looked low. Was low. A little inside, too. Now he's got to throw a strike to the hitting fool.
If it was a strike, he would have hit it.
Two out. Back to our trivia question, brought to you by our friends at AT&T Uverse TV. Name the last National League left-hander with a 20-win season.
I got to stick with Randy. I really haven't had much chance else to think about it. So
I'll ride those coattails.
I'll say Tom Glavine. Are we right?
Dontrell. See? I knew there was somebody else in there.
How's Dontrell pitching for Cincinnati this year?
He's pitched well of late. They're not scoring a ton of runs for him. Funny, I just read an article about that the other day and kind of his resurrection and the pitching coach over there that helped him out in the offseason. I forget who it was. It's not, I don't think it's the guy they have at the big league level, but somebody got a hold of him in the winter and just started talking to him and started playing catch with him, and one thing led to another, and they started working on some things, and he's, you know, kind of getting things going in the right direction.
And like Kershaw, guys, I think we'd all agree Dontrell Willis is great for the game.
No question.
Just a million megawatt smile, obvious talent. Guy that really seems to have a joyfulness about the game of baseball. And pitching for a Reds team that some thought was going to run away with Central. Hasn't worked out for Dusty Baker this year.
Yeah, it's hard to figure with that lineup and with the young starting arms they had that, other than Cueto, really haven't been able to sustain what they did last year.
In fact, Cueto leads the National League in ERA this year.
Yeah. Bronson Arroyo's given up like 200 home runs. Is that right, Dave? 200? Bronson Arroyo, 200 homers? Maybe it's 30.
Seems like 200.
Yeah.
Ugla now a 2-2 count, and has bounced into a force play and has struck out.
36 is the exact number, I'm told, for Mr. Arroyo. .88 slider. You know, we brag on the high-speed slider of Craig Kimbrell all the time at 88 and 89. This guy's been featuring one of those for 6 innings today.
Yeah, and 83 pitches, still has that kind of velocity.
And now a high-level meeting to discuss. Well, I'm tired of pitching to this guy. What are we going to do here?
Which pitch would you like to use here to try and get him out?
He picked the right one, and Dan Ugla did not like it. He thought that was a good bit off the outside corner, and now he continues to argue. Kershaw doesn't need a whole lot of help, does he, fellas? That's his 9th strikeout. Sports South is brought to you in part by Sherwin-Williams, by the Georgia Lottery, by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and by Chase. Well, fellas, I told you Clayton Kershaw would K9 today. Just was hoping it wouldn't be through 6 innings.
You were all over that, Chip, early on. I got to give it to you.
Start to act like Smoltz. Knock it off.
Look at Kershaw lay down a bunt. And Wilson throws wide of first base. Clayton Kershaw doing it all. A 2-hit game with a bunt single.
Again, a little bit of youthful exuberance. 3-0 lead, and you're leading off the inning, sprinting for a base hit bunt. But when you're 23 years old, you can do those sort of things.
Legs must be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good indication of how he's feeling here in the 7th inning.
Safe to say he likes pitching at Turner Field. This is, as Joe mentioned, the first time Kershaw has pitched in this ballpark as a member of the Dodgers. A world of options for Don Mattingly with D. Gordon in the batter's box. 2 more hits for Gordon.
Watch what he does, though. This is textbook bunting. He'll bring his back foot forward, step toward the pitcher. He's not running to first yet. Stepped right to the ball to push it to third base. That's like Maury Wills teaches it.
Maury Wills, Brett Butler.
Maybe a little bit out of the box when he made contact, too, which would be an out if Tony Randazzo had seen it.
That's past Wilson into left.
Costanza was playing deep short. He wasn't going to let that one drop in, but it was a line drive. Jose was.
That was a la Brett Butler there, too.
Uh-huh.
Bring your third baseman in, make him play in tight, and then you hit a line drive past him.
And with all due respect to that guy at first, go, leave. See you next year. He's had a terrific series. Let's see what Loney does. Dodgers already up 3-0. They're trying to climb to within a game of 500. That's the good news for L.A. Bad news is the team that they're chasing for the division lead is just as hot. The Diamondbacks seemingly never lose. Both L.A. and Arizona have won 9 of their last 10 coming in today.
Which, I don't know about you, Joe, but for me, it's after seeing them here for the weekend, they were here a couple of weeks ago, it's hard to believe.
Right.
They did not look like a good team.
They didn't. At that point, I think you and I agreed that the Giants were still going to win the division.
Well, a couple things. They went home. They also made a big trade. Remember getting McDonald and Aaron Hill from Toronto. They traded Kelly Johnson to the American League East. And they have opened up a 6-game lead over the Giants. In fact, they beat Tim Lincecum last night. Ian Kennedy 18-4.
Braves only have 2 more wins than the Diamondbacks.
Snap throw back. Kershaw back safely.
See, now I'm wondering from a strategy standpoint, you're up 3-0. First and second, nobody out. You know if Loney lays down the bunt, they're walking Matt Kemp. So you're essentially saying you want Juan Rivera hitting with the bases loaded and 1 out. Why not let this guy take a shot at doing something? If he makes an out, you're far more likely to pitch to Kemp with runners on first and second.
It's a great idea, and especially the way Loney's been swinging the bat.
Hits in 12 of 13 games. And that's a foul ball. Called immediately by Tony Randazzo at the plate. One figures he'll be swinging now with 2 strikes.
I mean, even if he hits into a double play, you're still the likelihood that they're going to pitch to Kemp with 2 outs and a runner on third is still probably pretty good.
Yeah. It's a 1-2 count now. Chances are pretty good he's going to be hacking.
He was, and strikes out. Christian has his second punch out of the game. And here's Kemp.
Sherwin-Williams on the corners on that one. Right at the bottom of the zone with some sink on it.
Joe made a good point the other night, Tommy. It's been a Barry Bonds-like series for Kemp. They've pitched him very carefully. They've walked him. But when he's been able to swing the bat, he's done some damage, including today, that 3-run homer.
Yeah, and you know, again, obviously you saw what happened today. And you know, for me, being away a little bit and being a fan watching at home, yeah, same thing. It seems like when they've given him the opportunity to swing the bat, he's made the most of it. And look, that's how you end up having these kinds of years where you're in the MVP conversation. I mean, give him an opportunity to swing the bat there in the first inning or in the third inning, and they make him pay for it. And again, when you're having these kinds of special years, when you get your opportunities and you get a pitch to hit, you're not fouling them off and you're not popping them up. You're doing some damage with him, and he's having that kind of year.
And the shame of it is, as we also mentioned and alluded to earlier, the Dodgers not having a particularly good year. Most of the focus has been on their ownership situation. And because they play on the West Coast and the games are late for the big media centers back east, a lot of folks probably have seen Matt Kemp fly under the radar. And that's hard to do when you've seen a guy hit 32 homers and knock in 105 guys.
And I think some of that too, Chip, is that the baseball junkies know he's having a good year. They say, wow, he's putting up some good numbers. But they don't realize how good his all-around game is. The plays he makes in the outfield, the runners he keeps from going first to third, the guys he throws out, 11 assists. I mean, stealing bases. You put it all together, it's a phenomenal year all around.
Well, this week could go a long way towards him staying in the conversation for MVP. You know, he's got 3 here in Atlanta, then they go to Washington for 4, and then they're back on the West Coast again, and then you know there are 3 more in Pittsburgh later in September, or 4 more in Pittsburgh later in September. But the rest of the year he's on the West Coast, so he's going to have to try and maybe sway some arguments here in this next week during this road trip.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Wind picking up, blowing to the left, and Kemp chases down and away, and he's down on strikes.
Boy, a couple of good strikeout pitches, weren't they, by Christian?
Yeah, I guess that's a changeup there.
Yeah, I think he kind of turned it over a little bit like he did to Loney.
And it's in a good spot because it starts right there in the same lane as his fastball away, and as a hitter you've got to respect that, and you see that lane as being his fastball, and the ball just doesn't get there.
So 2 on, 2 out. Juan Rivera.
Could be a big out right here. You leave Kershaw out there to run the bases the whole inning. Who knows? Might take something out of him when he takes the mound in the 7th.
Yeah, and he's fanned Loney and fanned Kemp. That's huge, but don't let up on this guy. He's got 4 RBIs in the series.
3 balls and a strike. Now the runners will go with a full count and 2 outs.
Well, see if he can make that same pitch he made to Kemp on a 3-2 count.
They both looked like strikes, forced Loney and Kemp to expand their zone a little bit. Got them both to swing and miss.
Popped him up. Michael Bourne's under, and he's got it. And Christian Martinez, another good inning of relief. This one in the top of our 7th inning. 3-0 Dodgers. In special recognition of the military, USAA now presents the singing of God Bless America.
Invite our guests to please rise and sing along as we celebrate America's freedom with the singing of God Bless America, performed by Atlanta opera tenor Timothy Miller.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance
to a land that's free.
Let us all be grateful for a land so fair.
As we raise our voices in a solemn prayer.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God
3-0 Dodgers. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Great rendition of God Bless America by Timothy Miller of Atlanta. And a few too many Dodgers hats for the Braves to tangle with today.
The two guys you would expect. The two guys who come through for them, their ace, Clayton Kershaw, and their MVP candidate, Matt Kemp. Both guys vying for perhaps big-time postseason hardware, and they are showing their stuff today.
And the fans looking for a little protection from the elements. It's begun to rain here at 3:40 Eastern Time. We mentioned at the start of play today that scattered showers expected throughout metropolitan Atlanta today. Tony Gwynn takes over for Rivera in left. Clayton Kershaw with 9 strikeouts protecting a 3-0 lead. He's looking for his 18th victory. And that will tie him with Ian Kennedy, whom we mentioned with Arizona, leading the National League in wins.
That first pitch to David Ross was his 85th on the day, only his 20th ball. Pretty good ball to strike ratio.
That's ridiculous.
We talk about hitters seeing a beach ball sized baseball time. When you have that kind of ratio, does the strike zone look about the size of the stadium?
I mean, it's either that or you could feel like you could throw it in a thimble. You're that locked in. It just doesn't matter.
The Braves, of their 88 fastballs, 21 were 95 or better. That's almost a fourth of them. We knew it was a lot. We didn't know it was that many. Pretty
Amazing.
Impressive.
Yeah, and again, I think it speaks to the kind of arms you're seeing nowadays. You know, and a big part of the why the Braves probably maybe were a little bit lower in their percentage was the guy that they threw out there last night to start for him only threw 92. So,
yeah,
you know,
right.
7th time this year that Kershaw has gotten to 10 strikeouts as he takes care of David Ross. 1 away in the Braves' 7th. Clayton's season high is 12 strikeouts. He retired 12 Giants on July 20th. Won that game 1-0. And his career high is 13, also against the Giants, but back in 2009.
He's gone 14 straight starts with at least 100 pitches. That's not unusual, especially for a guy that likes to finish what he starts. His season high is 125 pitches, but that came in a game against Colorado where he only worked 6 2/3.
A 1-out single for Gonzalez. And Jack Wilson will be the batter. Get your tickets now to see the Braves' last home series of the year when they take on the Phillies September 26th through the 28th. Buy your tickets now to get your tickets for this hot National League Eastern Division rivalry here at Turner Field. Visit Braves.com or call 800-745-3000.
The last 3 games of the season, too, and could be mighty important.
Not going easily at home against the Phillies. They've tied the game 4-4, and I believe Halliday's out of the game. To Wilson.
A few disgusted reactions today from Braves hitters with Tony Randazzo hitting the corners. I guess there was a nick there.
Sounded like a strike at 94 in there.
That response by Dan Ugla when he struck out in the 6th, about as demonstrative as we've seen him all year on any called third strike. He and Randazzo have had a difficult time this whole series.
Yeah, Dan might say Tony's seeing things that nobody else is. A little high, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Another thing about Kershaw's stretch is that high extension of his arms above his head before every pitch on the stretch. That's unusual.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of guys do that anymore. That's kind of, I don't know, that unnecessary movement maybe that guys try to eliminate from their delivery, but for him it's got to be some sort of timing to get into his delivery. Kind of that point in time maybe where he takes his deep breath, gathers his thoughts, and thinks about what he's trying to do with the pitch he's getting ready to throw.
Did you try to do something to, whether it's a deep breath or whatever, just to relax before the pitch, each pitch?
I tried to do a deep breath or something of that nature before I started. So when I was kind of getting ready to get my sign, take that breath, and okay, now here we go.
Line by Wilson into right field. Gonzalez with the slippery track, able to navigate his way to third base. And the Braves with their first real scoring chance in this game. First and third with 1 out. And remember, it came after Kershaw was on the bases the entire top half of this inning.
He had a little bit of rest, because of God Bless America, take me out to the ball game. He had a little bit of time to stay in the dugout. But some good swings. Alex had to put a good swing on a ball, and now Jack goes the other way. His first hit as a Brave. Good stuff.
Yeah, Jack got a similar pitch earlier in the at-bat where it's 2 strike up in the zone, and he fouled it straight back, and then a couple pitches later it looked like the same pitch, and this time he was able to get on top of it. But really, whether it's the base running or not, the first couple times we've really seen Kershaw up in the zone at all.
And for the first time, Rick Honeycutt, the Dodger pitching coach, will ring the bullpen. Jose Constanza's had no trouble making contact today. In fact, he's the only Brave that Kershaw hasn't struck out.
Some balls up. Josh Lindblom begins to loosen up for the Dodgers. We haven't seen him in this series. Don't know a whole lot about him, but I'm sure he throws 96.
Most likely.
And it appears he's right-handed.
Now, one of the things with Kershaw right here, too, with throwing a couple pitches up in the zone, this is not your typical situation where you're thinking, all right, make a good pitch, get a ground ball, double play. If you get deep into the count, maybe you get your strikeout. He's probably virtually eliminated the ground ball, double play possibility to try to get out of this inning without giving up a run. So if he's going to try and protect his shutout, then he's really got to be going for the strikeout right here. And maybe that's why you see him trying to overthrow a couple pitches and be up in the zone.
Smash toward Miles. Wide throw at second. Safe. 3-1.
Of course, no sooner did I get it out of my mouth, the one ball you could possibly double him up on, he hit right here. And I think it caught everybody, not a little bit by surprise. Obviously, you have to be quick to try and turn the double play, but Miles never gave the second baseman a chance to get to the bag.
That was it, Tommy. A lot of times when a ground ball's hit sharply to second, the second baseman's got to give the first baseman a chance to get to the bag and turn around. That was hit so sharply, Miles didn't hesitate getting rid of it, and Sellers was nowhere near the base. There was really no target to throw to.
And again, as much as you're in that situation right there, you're thinking, man, we got the one ball we can double this guy up on. You've still got to think through it. And once you realize that second baseman is not there, you know what? Take what the game gives you, take the out, give up the run, and stay out of the big inning. And now, with speed coming back into being a part of the equation, forced everybody to hurry up, and then they didn't get anybody out.
So fielder's choice, E5, and an RBI on that play. Costanza indeed makes contact. Braves make something of that play to third. And now send Brooks Conrad up to pinch hit. 2 on, 1 out, 1 in.
I know Brooks his batting average is better right-handed, but much bigger power threat left-handed. This year as a pinch hitter, 4 for 14 though right-handed. All 3 of his pinch hit homers have been left-handed. Last night, Honeycutt went out. You might remember when Conrad pinch hit in the 9th inning with a couple of guys on and talked to Mike McDougal after a couple of hits. Might have reminded him of what a good fastball hitter he is, especially left-handed. They threw him 3 straight sliders, and the inning was over.
In the dirt, pops away from Barajas, and the runners move up.
Did everything he could. He just couldn't keep it from bouncing so far away that everybody moved up. Another break for Atlanta.
Now a single could tie the game. And went outfield. It is raining. Blazing speed at second in Constanza. 2-2. Little flare, center field. It's going to drop. 1 run's in. Kemp's throw to the plate is late. We're tied.
Pitch set it all up. Broken bat flare to center. Constanza read this perfectly. He broke as soon as the ball was hit, and yet it was still a close play as Kemp threw this ball on the run. And Jose just got in there.
So Conrad comes through with a game-tying pinch hit. That's the good news. The bad news looked like he rolled his ankle.
Which one? I mean, it looked like he rolled both of them. He's got that shin guard right there. Ow! And then rolled the right one. Mercy.
Roll the left one first and then look like he rolled the right one trying to correct himself.
Don't think I've ever seen that.
Maybe they'll set each other off and nothing will hurt.
Woo. So a pinch hit. And the Braves have tied it. Conrad stays in the game, as does Kershaw. And for the second time this year, guys, Kershaw cruising merrily along. Sees Atlanta, for the moment, snatch a sure win right out of his hands.
Well, they've gotten a couple breaks this inning, and they've taken advantage of them.
Wonder what his strike to ball ratio this inning is.
Well, he's thrown 11 balls this inning. Forget how many strikes he had starting the inning.
Good cut. Got a pitch up. Still cutting it loose. That was 95. But Michael would like to have that one back. First time the Braves have put an inning together and scored some runs without benefit of a homer since the third inning of Game 1 of this series.
Kemp in center. Bourne flies out. And here's Martin.
Talked about Martin last night, maybe trying to ambush one of those high fastballs late in the ball game. And if Kershaw leaves one up to him, I'd like to see what he could do with it. Good hook.
Broken bat roller to Miles. And Loney with a nice stretch. Retires the side, but the Braves strike for 3 runs in the 7th and tie Clayton Kershaw. Alex started it. Aaron Miles helped it along. And then Brooks Conrad with a broken bat flare to center brings home runs 2 and 3 for Atlanta. And new life heading to the 8th for the Braves. Big college football kickoff weekend continues tonight after our ball game. SMU faces Texas A&M. And that game kicks off at 7:30 Eastern Time here on Fox Sports South. Good job by Christian Martinez in relief. He fired 2 scoreless innings. Joe, that was one of the key points in the game. And now it's Eric O'Flaherty's turn to answer the AT&T call to the pen.
Yeah, Christian did what he was supposed to do, and that was hold him right there. And you can go to your big guns and hope that the offense can conjure up something again in the 8th or 9th.
For Los Angeles, Ethier, Miles, and Barajas are scheduled. Mentioned at the start of the broadcast, the Braves and Phillies, the last 2 National League teams not to have been swept in 3-game series this year. Atlanta needs to win today to keep that alive at the end of the homestand.
Some good at bats by the Braves in the 7th inning, and then the error and the wild pitch certainly added.
Into left center. Constanza battling the raindrops. As part of our Fox Sports Supports charitable initiative, we're proud to wear these pins during our 2011 MLB games on Fox Sports South this year. We support Stand Up to Cancer and their work to fund groundbreaking research that helps accelerate treatment to patients. For more information, please visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports. Aaron Miles 0 for 3 at the plate. Struck out last time up.
O'Flaherty worked an inning last night when the game was tied. He worked the 7th, 1-2-3 inning to the bottom of the order with a strikeout.
And Miles takes one back up the middle. Place a deposit on a season ticket plan for next year. Secure your seats for 2012 today. All deposits will receive first choice on next year's seat location and priority ordering for 2011 postseason tickets. For more information or to place a deposit, call 404-577-9100 or visit braves.com/postseason. Let's see if Barajas can get a ground ball at somebody.
I think you got to be careful of now with those ground balls as infielders. Make sure you get a good grip. Slick field, get in a hurry, don't get a good grip. Now's the time where you can really throw one of those balls away.
Yeah, you don't want to get too fancy. Just make sure you get one. If it's the lead runner, that's great. Oh. I remember a high curveball being called a strike earlier today, too.
To third. One there. Two there. But was it fouled off or catcher's interference? Catcher's interference.
Randazzo heard it, called it right away.
Strange. It's not a kind of pitch you typically see it on. It's usually an off-speed pitch when a catcher's reaching for it. Yep.
And down, too.
Yeah.
So Eric's got to regroup. Got the double play ball, but instead it's an error on Ross on the catcher's interference call. And runners first and second for young Justin Sellers, the 8th place Dodger hitter. That one pops away from David. He'll throw late to third. And Miles moves up. Now they're at first and third, one out. Pass ball.
A tough inning for David. An unusually tough inning for him. And Barajas did not go, so the double play is still in order.
Throw will go to second and around the horn in time. Aaron Miles never moved from third base.
He thought it was a foul ball.
Miles never moved. And the Braves turn an around the horn double play and get out of the 8th inning. Watch this. What an inning. 3-3 remains the score.
Great opportunity there. Aaron Miles, who made an error that helped contribute to the Braves' 3-run 7th. He's at third base here. Now watch where this ball hits. Howard Feinberg, our Elvis operator in the truck, Notice this. See the ball bouncing foul territory down there? Maybe that's what Aaron Miles saw and just assumed it was going to be a foul ball. But even though it bounced in foul, it then went fair. That makes it a fair ball. And Miles became a spectator, and he's like, huh? Say what?
That's why you don't play umpire.
What are the rules?
It's been a rough last inning or so for Aaron Miles, as the Dodgers make a couple of changes with the Braves coming up in the 8th. Jamie Carroll takes over at second base. He'll bat 9th for Los Angeles. And Josh Lindblom, young right-hander, is on in relief of Clayton Kershaw.
Lindblom on for the 18th time on the year. Last pitched on Wednesday versus San Diego, going 2/3 of an inning with a walk and a strikeout.
Lindblom out of Purdue. And Eric Hinsky swings at the first pitch. Hinsky retired for the first out. Here's Dan Ugla.
Remember, the Braves still have Chipper, McCann, Hayward, and Freeman on the bench if they need them.
Oh, they don't need him. Let's hit a home run right here.
Lindblom started his college career at the University of Tennessee, transferred after the 2006 season, went to Purdue. Born and lives in Lafayette, Indiana. A couple of years ago, Baseball America said he had the Dodger organization's best fastball.
Pretty lofty praise.
Well, I just guessed earlier at 96, so we'll see. 6'4", 240. There's one of those guys.
Base hit for Ugla. That gives him an 8-game hitting streak, and he's hit 51 of the last 58 Braves games.
Good pitch right there. Slider down and away. But when you're going good, you can drive that pitch for a base hit.
His location was great, but his selection I didn't think was so great. It was like the 4th straight one he'd thrown him, so he kept zeroing in on it.
So Brian McCann will indeed hit. Los Angeles with a big infield shift. And Barajas out to talk to Lindblom about how to pitch Brian McCann.
Brian had a rough night yesterday. 0 for 4 with a walk. All 4 outs were strikeout swinging. But you know what? He struck out a couple of times in the first game of this series. A pinch hit appearance is so different than a full game. Focus is a lot sharper, I think, when you come up to pinch hit, and that you know this may be the only at bat you get today. You're locked in. It's a tight game. You know his adrenaline's flowing. It's maybe just what he needed to get going again.
He does have one pinch hit this year, does Brian McCann. That pinch hit was a homer.
Scott Albert, who's pitched already in the first 2 games of this series, has begun to loosen up, so all the time management here was give him a chance to get loose after McCann was announced.
And Don Mattingly will talk to Lindblom, ask about the weather, wait for Aaron Miles to join the conversation, and they'll wait for Tony Randazzo to get to the mound. And we'll see if he indeed goes against the lefty or Brian McCann.
That's the old line of Tommy Lasorda talking to the umpire. He's got a lefty and a righty. I mean, says the umpire, who would you bring in? And the umpire says, I'll bring the lefty in. And then Tommy goes, well, give me the righty.
Well, Tony Randazzo says bring on the lefty, it looks like. Elbert versus McCann when we come right back. Your power by AT&T Uverse TV, by Geico, and by Toyota. Rainy afternoon in Atlanta. The Braves were down 3-0. They've scored the last 3 runs of the game. That came in the 7th. They threaten again here in the 8th inning. And Brian McCann will face a left-hander, Scott Elbert, out of the Dodger pen.
Scott Elbert on for the 40th time, 0-1 on the season with a 2.48 ERA. Pitched there last night, 1/3 of an inning, giving up a hit. He'll be on to face Brian McCann, and probably we'll see from there. This time of year, there's a whole bunch of pitching changes late in the game.
He also worked an inning and a third in game 1 of this series, so he's had a heavy workload. Brian saw him on Friday night flying to left. Good splits. That's just fine against lefties. This is Brian's count, though. Needs to look for a pitch in a certain area. It's not there. Don't swing. Breaking ball.
I think that one was in the area, but it was the wrong speed.
Yep. And had Brian pulling off of it, too.
Foul at first. We'll do it again. 2-2.
Yes, I would send him.
I was just about to ask.
And I would let Brian McCann know he's going.
Not going. And Brian swings and misses.
3-2 breaking ball again. The 2-0 pitch and the 3-2 pitch. Similar pitches that he took a little off, a little spin on them.
So Elbert came on and got the man he was assigned. That was Brian McCann. And Blake Hawksworth is up and throwing. He apparently will come on to face Alex Gonzalez. Continue this 8th inning. Runner at first, 2 outs now. Alex Gonzalez, the Braves shortstop, up against Blake Hawksworth, a Dodger right-hander.
On for the 45th time on the year, 2-4 on the year, 4.37 ERA. He last pitched on Thursday in Pittsburgh, had a tough outing. 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 2 runs. So he'll be on here to face Alex Gonzalez, and this time of year, boys, it's a steady stream coming out of those bullpens.
Hawksworth, born in Vancouver, lives in Sammamish, Washington, where he's an assistant basketball coach at East Lake High School in Bellevue, Washington. Former Cardinal. Dodgers got him after the 2010 season from St. Louis.
Well, he's already shaken up because he just went into his stretch and then checked the runner at second. There's not one.
Well, maybe there's going to be after this pitch.
Stepped off and regrouped.
A 95-mile-an-hour fastball for a called strike.
Alex in a good stretch here lately. He's drawn some walks. He's getting his hits. He's getting some deep counts. Isn't this guy mostly a starter in the Cardinal organization?
Did a little both, starting
Yeah.
and relieving. Last year started 8 games of the 45 he pitched. In 2009 with the Cardinals, exclusively out of the bullpen. 30 games, 4-0, and a 2.03 earned run average.
That explains why he's got some outings with the Dodgers that are 2+ innings, some long relief.
A little high. 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, we're beginning to see a trend here late in the ball game too, with the calls from Barajas when it's a hitter's count. They're not, Braves hitters are not getting fastballs. They're getting change-ups and breaking balls. It's like a fastball here though, 3-1.
And he swung at ball 4. Or actually tried to get out of the way of ball 4 and fortunately popped it into the first row of seats.
That was about a mile, mile and a half, 2 miles from the target too. That's too bad.
Well, the only good thing about that is it got out of play for a foul ball.
Yeah. And a souvenir. And Dan can run on this pitch.
Popped up. Over by the Braves on deck circle. That one bounces in the 3rd row. And then a little further back on the ricochet. Do it again, 3-2.
Naturally, there's some pressure on the infielders when the runner's moving with 2 outs to not bobble one and take the easy out, so-called easy out at first. But I hated this play in the outfield as an outfielder defensively, because if there's one even slightly in the gap, or if you bobble the ball at all out there, don't come up with it cleanly with a decent runner going like Ugla, it's a run. Pressure on you to cut the ball off and get it cleanly.
Another pop. Row by row, Alex is peppering the fans beyond the on-deck circle.
Put up a good fight in the 2nd inning. Was it a 9-pitch at bat against Kershaw? 10. Thanks, Dave. 10-pitch at bat. He finally struck out, but he fouled off a bunch of pitches. It's the 8th pitch of this at bat.
Another pop, but this one will stay in play for Ethier in right field. And that will retire the side. The Braves threaten but fail to score. We remain tied heading to the 9th inning. Braves and Dodgers wrapping up the season series.
Pretty simple to add up the Dodger runs. A 3-run homer by Matt Kemp in the 3rd inning. That's all they have today. The Braves did not get on the board until the 7th inning. And it was helped by an error by Aaron Miles that allowed the first to score on what would have been a possible double play ball. And then after a wild pitch, moved 2 into scoring position. A broken bat base hit by Brooks Conrad plated 2 to tie it.
And so Atlanta makes a couple of changes defensively. Jason Hayward checks in. Jason will bat in the 3rd spot for Atlanta. Brian McCann on to catch. He's already in the lineup in David Ross's spot. And answering the AT&T call to the bullpen is Craig Kimbrell.
Typically in a ball game when you're tied, you're not going to have a save situation, so you're able to use your closer whenever you want. But this is out of sequence what we normally see. We usually see O'Flaherty, Venners, and then Kimbrell.
Jamie Carroll leads things off for the Dodgers. Balls, 2 strikes to the Dodgers' 37-year-old infielder Jamie Carroll, who's had a very good year. Little roller hit toward 3rd. Jack Wilson cleans that up easily. 1 out. Gordon has another 3-hit game today. He had 3 hits and scored 3 times in the series opener.
And only played a couple innings last night, had a base hit and scored the winning run. You would figure him to be late on any Kimbrell fastball, and as a result you see Jose Constanza very shallow and left.
Oh, that's how you see him play pitchers.
There's an example of it.
But last night the Braves had him positioned this way too, and he beat the defense by lofting a little fly ball into right center and turned it into a double, and that led to the winning run in the 10th.
He pulls an 0-2 pitch to first, and Prado handles that easily. Now the Dodger first baseman James Loney bats.
that hit somebody in the Dodger dugout, or they just fall backwards?
I think it hit the roof, concrete roof.
Man.
I don't think anybody had time to move.
Base is clear. 2-2 pitch to Loney. 2 outs. 3 outs. Loney caught looking. He struck out for the 3rd time this afternoon. And the Braves come up for the bottom of the 9th inning. Let's see if they can win it in their last at bat. Juan Richardson debuted today, and he's a big leaguer for real.
Yes, he is. A lot of hard work to get here. Got his first base hit and the first pitch he ever saw in the big leagues. So that's our Toyota play of the game.
And every single guy in the dugout was standing and applauding because every single guy remembers what that first major league hit was like.
Absolutely. And you add into that, everybody knows how hard he's been working and what he's been doing in the minor leagues to get here. So it makes it that much more special.
Now a little icing on the cake would be a Braves walk-off win today.
Go ahead, Jack. Let everybody know who you are and that you're here.
He's 1 for 3 with a run scored. Good crowd today. Excellent crowd today of 33,852.
It's been a great weekend. Over 100,000. 32 Friday night, 37 last night.
Out of play, foul.
They've got their rally slobber working.
And Wilson's called out.
Little backup. Breaking some.
Yeah, it didn't break maybe as much as they thought,
But to your point, Joe, earlier, sometimes that high pitch has been a strike, sometimes it hasn't been today.
That makes it tough.
Jose Constanza scored the game-tying run for the Braves on Brooks Conrad's pinch hit single. And he had a mighty cut. Will it stay fair? Will it stay fair? It just trickled foul. Miles nearly touched that, and it would have turned to gold for Constanza.
Great try.
Set it up beautifully with the home run cut, the swing before. Get everybody thinking he's going to try and end it.
Slapped over third this time. And now Chipper Jones comes to the plate with one on and one out. Rick Honeycutt out to talk to Huxworth.
Nobody in their bullpen.
I'm sure he's going to go over the scouting report with Chipper right here, but it's an interesting situation here now. I mean, you know, what do you do from the Braves standpoint? Does Constanza give Chipper a strike to try and end this thing with a swing of the bat? Does Chipper give Constanza a chance to steal, knowing that they'll probably walk him? If he does steal second base, then you put Michael Bourne in a position to try and win the game. So a little bit of a cat and mouse game is going to be going on here.
Yeah, it's a tough spot by using Chipper here. If it's Freeman, then and Constanza runs and they walk Freeman, then you still have Chipper in reserve. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. If Constanza runs and is successful, you've made Chipper pretty much a non-entity because they'll walk him. His run means nothing.
I say you give him at least one swing.
Not close. Ball one.
Outfield deep. Again, even with a fast runner at first, they got to try to prevent an extra base hit.
Chipper was fooled. Constanza moves up. That's ruled a wild pitch. So how will that affect Chipper's at bat?
He's capitalized on a wild pitch earlier today. They're going to put him on. Jose took off like he was going to steal third. Rajas was signaling to the pitcher to keep an eye on him. So no matter how it was going to happen, it happened. They're at first and second, and now it's up to Michael Bourne, who's certainly capable of winning the game himself.
Michael's doubled it. His 4 trips to the plate today. Michael's second in the National League in hits, with 166 of them, 10 behind the Cubs' Starlin Castro.
Well, he put a lot of pressure on the infield right here and a lot of pressure on the outfield. And with a wet field, That's not going to make it any easier.
And a tough guy to double up.
Fly ball right center field. That ball's gonna be caught in right by Ethier. What a play by Ethier. The ball gets away for a moment, but no advance. It hung up just a touch for Michael Bourne.
My goodness, what a play. Looked like a game winner from our perch. With sore knee and all, Andre Ethier, at least for the moment, saves the game for the Dodgers.
Yeah, exactly. For the moment, it's a game-saving catch. Still got one more tough customer to go through in Martin Prado.
Wow, what a play.
Yeah, off the bat, that looked like it was going in, and then it just kind of hung up there the last little bit. Well, Martin's due.
Mentioned Kemp has 11 assists. I believe Ethier's got 8. He's the Dodger right fielder. Got Tony Gwynn Jr. in left.
I think he's got a bunch too.
Yeah, Gwynn's got 8 of them. 1 ball, 1 strike. Patience.
Excellent patience. Martin, I think, in these struggles over the last month, trying to bat behind Michael Bourne, make of it, again, what you want. But I think it's taken away some of his aggressiveness, where he's been thinking more, almost too much about right field. And you'd like to see him, especially in this spot, be ready to jump on anything hard.
Great pitch behind in the count. Now it's full, and the runners will go with 2 outs.
What a pitch.
Well, if you're going to throw 3-1, right? Guess you got to throw 3-2.
Stanza with a huge lead at second.
Well, they're really not paying him much attention, which...
Line down the left field line, but he pulled it foul.
That was a pretty good swing by Martin on another good pitch. Kind of hung up a little bit.
Yeah, that one hung just a little bit more than the one previous.
Nice play by the ball boy.
Is he going to go there again, or try and sneak a fastball in on him maybe?
I'm saying breaking ball. Because even if you throw it off the plate for ball 4, you've moved the winning run up 90 feet. That's all. You still got pressure on the defense, but you haven't lost the game. And maybe you can get him to chase it.
Let's see. 3-2. Ripped straight back. A 96-mile-an-hour fastball. He was all over.
And it looked like he was in a good spot. Martin spoiled it.
Well, he took a shot with a fastball. I would think he's going to go back to the breaking ball here.
Line, base hit. Braves win it. Martin Prado sends them home happy. 4-3 your final.
Fastball.
I thought it was a fastball too, but I looked up there and I saw 87, so I don't know if he was trying to throw a changeup or a slider, but great at bat, great reaction.
Come and get me, boys. What a nice comeback win on a day in which you got to face one of the toughest pitchers in the game and spot him to a 3-run lead.
Well, we've already talked a lot this year about what the Braves have done against Cy Young winners. Well, look what they did today against a potential Cy Young winner in Clayton Kershaw. The Braves are not swept by the Dodgers. They salvage the final game and win it in their last at-bat. Your final, Atlanta 4, Los Angeles 3. So coming up next, we've got Braves Live here from the ballpark. Craig Kimbrell wins it. Blake Hawksworth is the losing pitcher. More on that as we have Braves Live coming up next. Freddie Gonzalez post-game sound, post-game interviews, and all of today's highlights. For Joe Simpson and Tom Glavine, Chip Carey, stay tuned. Braves Live is coming right up.